Hello and welcome to this session. My name is Atul Hiranwar, and today we're going to explore this question of what's stopping digital transformation in SMEs. I'll begin by where we are at the moment. We are in the midst of a pandemic, a global pandemic none of us have seen. And this period has taught a lot of lessons for individuals and businesses. So, we're going to look at what are the learnings from this period of COVID and see what we can learn from uh, about technology and how SMEs have adopted technology. So, as I was saying, this period has taught a few lessons, but there's one particular lesson I would like to highlight. And for that, let's go a bit back in time. So, around about 2000s, when the web was just starting up and internet was really flourishing, the businesses there was one lesson which was very clear in that time. Businesses had to be online. So businesses who chose not to be online were in danger. Around about 2006 or 2007, when e-commerce was booming, people were trying to sell online. The lesson for businesses was quite clear. They had to start selling online. And in 2020, the lesson was quite clear that businesses had to start working online. Businesses who chose not to work online face difficulties and will continue to face difficulties in the coming times. So, those are three lessons from three different times of how technology affected business. And it's not just the business growth, but business survival itself. Now, let's look at a few areas this period during a COVID period which were accelerated and see the tech in those areas. So, COVID definitely accelerated working online, but a lot of SMEs were unprepared for it, despite the tech for this being available for more than 10 years. So, a lot of big businesses were already doing it, but SMEs were not ready for it. Some SMEs were able to adapt to it, but a lot of them struggled as well. So, working online was accelerated, the tech was available, but SMEs could not take benefit from it previously. Same with learning online. So, the inverted classroom model, which was pioneered by Khan Academy, has been available for more than 10 years. Yet, not many universities were presenting or were making online lessons available. So, a lot of the difficulties that businesses faced in this period could have been avoided. Now, let's look at it closely. What happened in this COVID period was what I like to call a double whammy. So, there was a significant reduction in the demand in this period, but businesses who were not set up for working online were unable to fulfill even that reduced demand. So, in this period, whom do you think fared better? Businesses who were set up for remote working or those who weren't? Now, I understand that remote working is not for all businesses, and neither is this session going to be about remote working. But what I would like to highlight is the lost opportunities, the opportunities that were lost because of a lack of foresight in using available technology. Now, remote working is just one example where technology can help you gain advantage. There are many other areas how technology can help a business gain advantages. I'll I'll give a personal experience of mine. So when I met with small business owners, SME, MDs or CEOs, and whenever I spoke with them previously about what I can do, what technology can do for their business, and let's have a web meeting, let's have a web chat, the typical answer I would get was, "Sorry, I'm not good with technology." And now, after COVID, when I say the same, ask the same question or say the same thing to these business owners that let's have a web chat, let's have a web call, the answer I get is sure, send me the meeting link. So, in a period of 3 months, these business owners went from being quite unaware of Zoom to becoming quite conversant. Now, Zoom is just one such tool, and there could be any others we could be using for those meetings. But the point is, business owners were not at all willing to try it before, who became quite conversant. And it was not that Zoom was difficult or unaffordable before COVID, but there was just an hesitancy to try new technology. And if there is one important learning for businesses from COVID, it is this: they should have a willingness to explore new technologies. Because if they don't, something will force the change. And then someone who's even slightly prepared will take the lead. And by that time, it may be too late because with technology, the longer you leave adopting a new technology, the difficult it gets. In fact, sometimes you just need to start from scratch. So that's all good for what has happened in the past. What do we do for moving ahead? Let's have a quick recap of what we saw up till now. So we just had a quick view of what lessons we can learn from the past, what COVID changed, and the tech usage in that. And we saw briefly a quick lesson for SME, which is to explore new technology. But what can we do moving ahead? How can SMEs learn from this period and the past, and how can they build better businesses? So whatever I'm speaking right now, whatever I've said up till now has not been from hindsight. So it's not like I have seen the COVID crisis and I'm just saying something which anybody would have noticed. So this is not just from the COVID hindsight. I have been having these discussions with SMEs for the past 2 years or so, and this is probably a good time for me to give an introduction about myself. So my name is Atul Hiranwar. I've been in the UK for about 13 years and in IT for about 20 years. In this period, I have worked with small, medium, and large companies, and for them, I have worked in planning and delivering projects like digital transformation, integrating business systems, software evaluation, vendor selection, and so forth. And the results have been something like adding thousands of pounds in revenue, saving days and weeks, and making IT generally less stressful to work with. And nowadays, I work as a virtual director or a VCIO. So, where I've combined all my expertise and I help small businesses who need strategic IT guidance. So, they typically may have small IT teams or IT service providers for their support, but they don't necessarily have a strategic IT guidance, and that's what I help with. So, whatever I mentioned previously in the last section was not from hindsight. It has come from speaking with SMEs, having these conversations with SMEs for the past almost 2 years. And when I would have a chat with them and tell them, explain to them that these are the possibilities with technology and this is what can be done for the business. This is how the business can grow and everything about my service and how it can be of benefit for the small business. And one thing I noticed in all my discussions, in all my conversations with these small businesses was small businesses miss out on trying or adopting new technology because there is one crucial factor which is missing. And that one crucial factor which I've noticed is technology planning. Now I'll give a bit detail into that. So small businesses don't look at IT for the whole business, but to solve one specific problem. IT is not typically part of the 90-day plans, and IT is approached many times only in case of problems. What this results in is new tech developments are ignored. They are known but not adopted. So the tech team knows about it, the IT team knows about it, the wider business knows about it, the management knows about it, but those tech developments are never really adopted within the business itself. And ignoring these new technologies leads to a disadvantaged position in the market. And that is the only reason I think that SMEs need a digital transformation to avoid that position of disadvantage. And the foundation of that lies in technology planning. So what is technology planning all about? So just let's have a recap of how we have come to this. So we saw a few lessons from COVID. Then we saw that SMEs are in a disadvantaged position, and that's the only reason they should have a digital transformation. And we also saw that there's a crucial piece which is missing with SMEs. And we're saying that for this, technology planning is the answer. Now let's see what technology planning is all about. Let's look at a bit closely. So the immediate question that comes to mind is, isn't everyone doing planning? So yes, businesses are doing planning, but typically businesses are doing planning for their sales or marketing, 90-day plans for these departments. And as I mentioned, very few companies have IT as part of these planning meetings. IT typically is called upon when the decision by the business has been made to go in a particular direction. By that time, there is little input or direction that IT can give as to what can be done or what are the alternatives technology-wise which can help going in that direction. And as I was saying, mostly IT is called upon when there is a problem. So what happens because of this is there's a rift between business and IT. And that's when you hear statements like IT is not supporting the business. which no one wants to hear, neither IT nor business. So what would now that we're seeing technology planning session, what does a typical session like this look like? Let's briefly see what we covered up till now. So we saw that SMEs have a disadvantaged position, and that's probably the only need for a digital transformation for them. Then we are saying technology planning is a crucial piece, and we are exploring this technology planning further to see how it can help. So at the core of a technology planning session, you would look at what are the business goals and then explore how tech can help with them. So you would potentially look at creating a tech roadmap which is aligned to your business goals. Now, tech roadmap is anything which is like a product roadmap or a marketing roadmap or something of that sort. And if you don't have a tech roadmap, maybe or you don't have an understanding of how to build one, I'm sure your tech IT team or your IT service provider can help you with that. Otherwise, if you don't have them in alignment, this is what typically may happen. So the business is looking for, let's say, data analytics for sales, or they want to move into a new territory, or they want to capture new customer segment, and they're looking for data to fuel their research or fuel their campaigns. But so business wants this, but the IT at the same time is busy looking for a new CRM based on a previous priority, which is a recipe for disaster and something which both parties, IT and business, want to avoid. So when I have a technology planning session with my clients, I go through a series of questions and I ask a few tools to come back to help gain some clarity around these things. So, and this is what you should be looking for when you have a technology planning session. You should try to find out what are the business goals for these 90 days. What does the business want to achieve? Then what is the tech for those goals? What how can which tech can be used to reach those goals? And from that derive what are the most beneficial projects to be executed, and from then on derive a tech roadmap for implementing those projects. And also what I found is that these sessions highlight these sort of issues as well. So they highlight the resource and priority conflicts and the usage contradictions. Now, the resource and priority conflicts are quite common. So it's the same IT team being asked to work on two different projects at the same time, or two different departments in the business asking for different projects with the same priority. That is quite common and observed. You can see that very often. But what surprises me always is the usage contradictions. So the business wants to implement a new system or an application like, let's say, a CRM, but the sales team, let's say, is wants that CRM to improve their connection with the customers, but the customer service department actually wants to use that CRM to improve their workflow. So there are these usage contradictions also, which you can find from all these sessions. So these sessions help you have those nuanced discussions of what should be prioritized, what should we look at. Is the same application good for to both those usages, or is a different technology better for those? So these sessions will highlight those conflicts, those contradictions, and help the tech team mm, give better advice on what the business can do to move ahead. So the main direction of this session, of course, should always be to help evaluate and adopt the right technology for the business. So you can have a longer discussion in this business, but the aim should always be this, to adopt and evaluate the right technology for the business. Because I think in essence, that is what is the digital transformation of an SME, the ability to adopt the right technology for a business. So if I were to put the steps for digital transformation of an SME, they would look something like this. The foundation is, of course, on technology planning sessions, which will help you to align your tech roadmap with your business goals, which further help the business in adopting the right technology for the business. And as I was saying, adopting the right technology for the business is, in a sense, the digital transformation for the business. And the foundation of that lies in technology planning sessions. So what should an SME do? if this all makes sense, and if a small business wants to build up on this knowledge or in this direction, what should one do? So let's quickly look at what we have seen so far. So we saw the need of SME digital transformation. We then started to explore the technology planning part of it. Then we also see what a session of technology planning would look like, or what would it highlight, what should you look from such a session. And we briefly saw the steps for digital transformation for an SME. So what should an SME do if one wants to walk on this path? So first thing is to introduce technology planning to your regular planning exercise. Second, you can do it with your IT team or your IT service provider, and start always with the aim to align the business goals to the tech roadmap. Of course, as I was saying earlier, if you're unfamiliar with a tech roadmap, your IT teams with your service provider or your in-house team can help you with it. And when you are doing this session, think about how you can improve your product or service, or the delivery of that product or service, or the experience itself for your customers as well as your employees. When you start to think on these lines during your planning sessions, you will find that you can uncover overlooked or blindsided opportunities within your organization. So maybe there was some suggestion which was forgotten, or some project which is not being now taken up. But you can really uncover things or hidden gems within your organization where technology can help improve the business. I urge you to try this tool, try technology planning, because the risk of not doing it are much higher now. The business survival is at risk. Because, and I'll say this, because the change is coming. We have been hearing a lot of these things of how things are going to change after COVID. But let's quickly have a look at what that means. So we are being told that there's a new normal. We will have to change for this new normal, and we all need to change for this new normal. It would be employees, it will be businesses, it will be individuals. We'll probably be seeing new ways in which businesses will work. So we all will need to change some way for this. And this session, this introduction to technology planning, is my attempt to show SMEs, small businesses, a way to change. And I do this because I feel small SMEs or small businesses are quite disadvantaged at in this position, because the technology is growing rapidly. A lot of the big businesses are taking brilliant use of it, and SMEs are not like startups where they have very little investment. SMEs have significant investment, and the risks are much higher for them than for startups. That's what I feel. So that's why I'm presenting this technology planning sessions as a way for SMEs to change. So if this is for you, if you're a small business, if you're an SME, and if this is for you, what can you do? If technology planning session seems good for your business, what can you do? So there's a good way to get started. Now, digital leaders lottery. So there was this one. So if you're listening to this immediately after the digital leaders event, and if you have been a participant of this event, then three winners uh, will be getting a free strategic technology planning session with me, and digital leaders will email you about it. But if that's not the case, you can use this digital leaders event discount, where you get a 25% discount on the strategic technology planning session with me. Now, this is a session which as I was saying, the technology planning session which you do with me, you use my experience, whatever I've learned, and use the tools which I have built for your benefit. Again, digital leaders will email you about this event discount as well, or you can note down this URL, this long URL at the bottom, and the code which is there, which is DigiLead25. Alternatively, you can just email me and I will send you this link and this code to get that 25% discount. So those are your two ways in which you can get started with technology planning sessions. And as I was saying, if you do these sessions with me, you benefit from my experience, from the tools I have developed over these few years. And also, what you can do is you basically learn this with me in this session and then go back and do it with your team. So there's no need for you to do it again and again with me. Once you've learned the method, the process, you can do it with your team. So I ask again actually to do these technology planning sessions, and if not with me, with your IT service provider or your IT team. And I have given some information, some direction to conduct it yourself, the basic guidelines of what you need to use in that, what are the things you need to achieve from those meetings, and why, what is the need for small businesses to do these technology planning sessions. Of course, if you start doing it, you get stuck with anything, you want a format of how to do it, just email me with your questions anytime and I will be happy to answer them. I would like to see SMEs adopt this practice because going back to old ways is not an option. And SMEs more than ever right now need to embrace technology change. And this technology planning sessions are a good way to get started with adopting new technology. And on that note, I would conclude this session. And I wish you all the best in improving your business with tech. So, if there are any questions, do email me on this email ID, or you can send them to me on the chat, and we'll pick a few of them right now. Thank you very much.